From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang. For our top story, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday ordered concerned government agencies to ensure the stakeholders' strict compliance with the Implementing Rules and Regulations or IRR of Republic Act or RA 12021 or the Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers. The President gave the directive to the Maritime Industry Authority or Marina, the Department of Migrant Workers or DMW, the Department of Transportation or DOTR, and the Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE following the signing of the IRR of the Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers in a ceremony at Malacañang Palace in Manila. In his speech, the chief executive urged all public servants, industry leaders, and maritime advocates to embrace the rules with determination. DMW Secretary Hans Leo Cacdac and Marina Administrator Sonia Malaluan signed the IRR during the ceremony at Malacañang. Enacted in September 2024, the Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers aims to protect the rights and welfare of both domestic and overseas Filipino seafarers and promote their full employment by providing equal opportunities within the maritime industry and ensuring access to education, training, and development in accordance with prevailing domestic and international laws, standards, and conventions. The final version of the IRR consists of rules that establish a comprehensive framework to implement the principles outlined in the Magna Carta, including 4 key provisions such as strengthening seafarers' rights and welfare, promoting equality and inclusion, advancing maritime education and training, and ensuring accountability. Let us now listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
I am as happy as anyone that we have the IRR. We can now implement all of the provisions in the Magna Carta for our seafarers. It is a very important day. All our Filipino seafarers for whom we have done all of this, my fellow workers in government, our key development partners, stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat at mainit na pagtanggap dito sa Malacañang. The sea has always been a powerful metaphor for life. It is vast, challenging, unpredictable, yet full of opportunities. And as we welcome a brand new year, we set anchor on a long-awaited shore. Only 3 months after I signed the Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers, we now witness the signing of its implementing rules and regulations. This reinforces our commitment to ensuring the welfare of our seafarers. Among the features of the IRR is the establishment of the one-stop shop centers for seafarers. Through this, we aim to simplify processes to eliminate bureaucratic hurdles. The Magna Carta and the IRR guarantee fair medical treatment and access to free legal representation, ensuring that in moments of vulnerability, whether due to illness, injury, or legal challenges, our seafarers will have the support and protection from government. Para sa mga kababaihan sa maritime industry, ang IRR na ito ay ilan lamang sa mga paraan para kayo ay maprotektahan at mapahalagahan. Sinisiguro ng Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers at IRR nito ang inyong mga karapatan laban sa diskriminasyon at pananakot. Ang hakbang na ito ay hindi lamang nagbubukas ng pagkakataon sa industriya. Ito rin ay sumasalamin sa ating dedikasyon sa mas progresibo at mas pantay na patakaran sa industriya ng maritime. It also envisions a well-prepared and competitive maritime workforce. By enhancing access to advanced training and requiring maritime education institutions to adopt cutting-edge facilities, we are equipping our seafarers and cadets to compete in the global arena. Beyond compliance with international standards, these efforts also secure the future of our seafarers in a rapidly evolving industry. These provisions are part of a holistic framework designed to uplift the lives of Filipino seafarers and their families. As we formally implement this landmark law, I urge all of us, public servants, industry leaders, maritime advocates, to embrace our roles with determination. To the DOTR, Marina, DOLE, DMW, and other concerned agencies, please ensure the immediate issuance of all remaining guidelines relative to the implementation of this IRR and the Magna Carta of Filipino seafarers. Monitor its strict compliance by all stakeholders and assist our seafarers to maximize the benefits that it provides. Let us ensure that every provision of this law and this IRR are not just words that appear on paper, but a bulwark that our seafarers can rely on. Sa ating mga marino, saan man dako kayo ng mundo, patuloy ninyong binibigyan ng karangalan ng ating bansa dahil sa taglay ninyong kasipagan, kahusayan at katatagan. Kaya naman, sa bawat paglalayag sa bawat paglalakbay ninyo, kami po ay nasa likod ninyo, naglilingkod upang higit na maitaguyod ang inyong seguridad, dignidad at karapatan. Ito po ay simula lamang ng mas matatag at maliwanag na kinabukasan para sa ating mga marinong Pilipino at sa kanilang mga pamilya. Sama-sama nating itaguyod ng bagong Pilipinas kung saan ang bawat manggagawa kasama ng ating mga marino ay may seguridad at matiwasay na kinabukasan.
And you just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Still on Wednesday, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos met with The Voice US Grand Winner Sofronio Vasquez in Malacañang. Vasquez made history as the first Filipino and Asian to clinch the title, an achievement the president said not only made waves in the music world but also brought immense pride to the Philippines. President Marcos, a self-professed music lover, even joked about declaring Vasquez's winning day a holiday in the entire archipelago. In a heartfelt courtesy call to the first couple, Vasquez shared his inspiring journey from humble beginnings, working as a cruise ship singer, to finding his footing in the vibrant music scene of the United States. The emotional meeting was also a family affair, with Vasquez's family joining him to share in the moment of recognition. The First Lady, visibly moved, wiped away tears as Vasquez delivered a special musical tribute, performing a soulful rendition of John Lennon's classic Imagine, much to the delight of the first couple. He also performed A Million Dreams, one of his show-stopping songs from The Voice US finale. In an interview after the meeting, Vasquez said he was overjoyed in meeting the first couple. He also bared plans of releasing a single within the first quarter of the year and to continue honoring Filipinos with his music.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has named Associate Justice Geraldine Faith Ekong the new presiding judge of the Sandigan Bayan. Ekong's appointment, signed by the President on January 7th, was confirmed by Malacañang late on Wednesday. Ekong will replace Amparo Cabotaje Tang, who retired in November last year as chief of the Anti-Graft Court. A seasoned jurist, Ekong was appointed Associate Justice of the Sandigan Bayan in 2016. She has also held various judicial roles, including presiding judge of the Regional Trial Court or RTC Branch 9 in Cebu City from 2004 to 2010. Ekong will retire from the Sandigan Bayan on August 6, 2037. The Sandigan Bayan is the country's special appellate collegial court that has jurisdiction over criminal and civil cases involving graft and corrupt practices and other offenses committed by government officials and employees.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news stories, all 13 Filipina surrogate mothers and their babies repatriated from Cambodia have been reunited with their respective families more than a week after Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD provided them with temporary shelter. Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao on Wednesday reported that the DSWD already processed the reintegration of the remaining 5 mothers and 2 babies to their families in Mindanao. Dumlao said 2 of the surrogate mothers were accompanied by the DSWD Field Office or FO11 Davao Region as they returned to their respective hometowns on January 5th. The 3 mothers and 2 babies who stayed at the Haven for Women in Muntinlupa also flew to their provinces in Mindanao on January 6th. The first batch of surrogate mothers and 1 baby were reintegrated to their families last December 30 and 31 in time for the celebration of the New Year. The 13 surrogate mothers were among the 24 foreign women arrested by Cambodian authorities in Kandal Province in September 2024 on charges of attempted cross-border human trafficking. On December 29, the 13 surrogate mothers arrived in the Philippines after receiving a royal pardon following an appeal by the Philippine Embassy in Phnom Penh, supported by the royal government of Cambodia.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Philippine Department of Migrant Workers or DMW on Wednesday vowed to bring back the 220 overseas Filipino workers or OFWs recently pardoned by the United Arab Emirates or UAE. In a statement, the DMW also promised to reintegrate them into Philippine society through a whole-of-government approach under the Bagong Pilipinas initiative. The DMW said its Migrant Workers Office or MWO in the UAE, with the help of the Philippine Embassy in Abu Dhabi, is expediting the necessary documentation and logistical arrangements to bring the pardoned OFWs back home. The agency expressed gratitude to the UAE government for granting clemency announced on December 26, 2024 during the Gulf States' 53rd National Day celebration. The pardoned individuals were detained for various offenses. The DMW assured that it would assist the pardoned OFWs in their journey toward reintegration, echoing Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s appreciation for UAE's generosity. In June 2024, a similar act of goodwill saw 143 Filipinos pardoned in the UAE during the Eid al-Adha celebration.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Philippine Senator Loren Legarda on Wednesday said the 220 overseas Filipino workers or OFWs detained in the United Arab Emirates or UAE who were recently pardoned by President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan should receive adequate assistance from the national government. In a news release, Legarda underscored the need for comprehensive reintegration measures to assist the pardoned OFWs to rebuild their lives once they are repatriated. These include livelihood and skills training programs such as those offered by the Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE and the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESDA. Legarda also called on the need to extend support to their families, particularly in addressing the educational needs of their children. The Department of Migrant Workers or DMW on Wednesday vowed to bring back the 220 pardoned OFWs and reintegrate them into Philippine society through a whole-of-government approach under the Bagong Pilipinas initiative. The Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA and the Philippine Embassy in Abu Dhabi are expediting the processing of documents to ensure the swift repatriation of pardoned individuals.
Dateline Malacañang.
Filipinos in Malaysia are urged to remain vigilant against human metapneumovirus or HMPV following the rise of cases in the Southeast Asian nation last year. On Wednesday, the Philippine Embassy in Kuala Lumpur noted that at least 327 cases were reported in Malaysia in 2024, higher from the 225 recorded the previous year. In a statement, the embassy said HMPV is a respiratory infection that usually feels like a common cold with symptoms like cough, fever, and runny nose. However, in more serious cases, it can lead to bronchitis or pneumonia. Children under age 5, the elderly, and people with weakened immune systems are at higher risk of catching the virus. The embassy advised the public to protect themselves and observe simple precautions by wearing a mask and practicing good hygiene. The Malaysian Health Ministry last week said it is constantly monitoring the situation, both in and out of the country, but noted that increase in acute respiratory tract infections at the end and the beginning of the year is fully expected. Concerns were earlier raised following reports of a surge in HMPV cases in China. The World Health Organization meanwhile said HMPV is not a new virus and that the upward trend in the respiratory pathogen detections, including that of HMPV during the winter, is within the range expected for this time of the year.
Dateline Malacañang.
In a related story, the Philippine Department of Health or DOH on Wednesday reported 284 cases of human metapneumovirus or HMPV in 2024, comprising 5.8% of the 4,921 positive samples tested for the respiratory viruses. Despite the low incidence, the DOH assures the public that HMPV infections are being monitored as part of the country's respiratory illness surveillance. The data from January 1 to December 21, 2024 includes 10 HMPV positive cases out of 339 samples tested in December. The DOH highlighted that HMPV is detected sporadically throughout the year with no unusual patterns or clustering observed. Stressing that it is not a new virus, DOH explained that HMPV, a respiratory virus discovered in 2001, typically causes mild upper respiratory symptoms such as cough, fever, and nasal congestion. Severe cases, though rare, may lead to bronchitis or pneumonia, particularly among infants, the elderly, and immunocompromised individuals. Meanwhile, the agency also reported a decline in overall influenza-like illness or ILI cases, recording 179,227 in 2024, a 17% drop compared to 216,786 cases in 2023. Other top causative agents of ILI include rhinovirus, enterovirus, and influenza A. The decline is attributed to improved health-seeking behaviors and better preparations by the healthcare sector. ILI is often characterized by symptoms such as cough, colds, and fever, and can be caused by various respiratory viruses. Health Secretary Teodoro Herbosa emphasized the importance of preventive measures like proper nutrition, exercise, and hygiene to combat respiratory illnesses, especially during the cooler northeast monsoon season.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the Philippine National Police or PNP on Wednesday said they already have a person of interest or POI in the killing of national athlete and airman first class Mervin Guarte, who was stabbed in Calapan City, Oriental Mindoro on Tuesday morning. In a radio interview, Calapan City Police Chief Lieutenant Colonel Roden Fulache said the PNP is still conducting an investigation as to the motive. Fulache said the victim and the POI both grew up in the same village. The police chief said policemen went to the residence of the POI and other places where he might have gone, but he was not around. Fulache said the police would file criminal charges against the POI once investigators establish evidence behind the killing of Guarte. Initial police investigation showed Guarte had no known enemy in the area, according to Fulache. Guarte was sleeping on a couch in his friend's house, village councilor Dante Albo Abel, when the assailant stabbed him with a kitchen knife on the left side of his chest. Police said before the incident, the victim visited his uncle in the area and had a drinking session with the other people in the compound. Fulache said Guarte could not identify his attacker when policemen visited him in the hospital before he died. A bladed weapon without a handle, which was believed to have been used by the assailant, was recovered from the crime scene. Guarte won 2 gold medals in the 2019 Manila and 2023 Cambodia Southeast Asian Games or SEA Games for obstacle racing. He also got 2 silver medals in the 2011 Indonesia SEA Games for athletics. Olympic boxing medalist Nesty Petesio and Yumir Felix Marshall have expressed condolences and called for justice over the death of their fellow athlete.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 9.475 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.820 MHz. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.